I think that we are too condensed in our imagination, and because of that, well, a lot of people say that they have so much problems, and well, yeah, well, that they have so much problems, but as I see it, at least 95% of our problems are well, they come from they come because of the fact that we are too focused on our imagination and too focused on the problem itself instead of solving it. Because, for example, I'm sure that this situation is pretty relatable for almost everyone. And for example, I'm sure that a lot of you have ever get an assignment for a different subject or something like that, or just work assignments, some project at school, but well, it doesn't matter. And I'm sure that, well, when you got this assignment for the first time, you were so reluctant to do it. You was thinking, well, I don't want to do it so bad, it's so, I don't know, the idea of it is so excruciating. You become no, you start to feel worse just because of the thought itself of because of just because of the understanding of the fact that you will need to do it, and you will uh, that you will that you can just not do it, and that's it, that you haven't got any choice. But well, first of all, uh, if you are condensed in your imagination, well, no, um, when it comes to the deadline, when you have only 2 or at most 3 days before the deadline, you start to lock in on this assignment, and you do it almost without any resistance from the face of, well, from your brain, because you don't feel those thoughts, you don't feel those this reluctance to do anything concerning this task. You just know that that you need to do this task, and you have mostly no choice to not to do it. And when it comes to the deadline, you start to do as much as possible, and you just fall into this flow state where everything is so easy to do, and you don't, well, as I said before, you just don't face any resistance. But I understood that mostly we have this thing maybe applied to almost all of our problems, because a lot of things in our lives um, make us worry about them only when we focus on them. When we try to do something about them, when we try to change the situation, when we know what will the outcome be if we don't do anything, and we uh, I don't know, when we have when we have decent amount of decent when we have just a decent desire to um, avert those consequences, we wouldn't face so much reluctance. We would, I think it would be just much easier for us to drop and to fall into this flow state. And well, sometimes, well, I just understand, and to be honest, even though I try to, I don't know, preach different things, preach different values, which are, in my opinion, pretty, pretty well valuable just for a person who wants to be successful. But mostly I'm just speaking to myself, because, well, it's good to have those things in your mind, but sometimes you need someone to say it for you, and it's just much better when you can say it out loud to yourself. But well, nevertheless, uh, I think that the only way to tackle most of our problems in our lives is just not to focus on them. I think it seems to me that I said in the previous video that we have a certain circle of control, and we mustn't we mustn't even look outside of the circle, because each glance a field of the circle will make us think about will make us more miserable, because we will understand how powerless we are, and I think none of us wants to feel weak, or to feel just imprisoned in this world. And I see our life as we are not, and it is up to us to it is up to us to decide which way we want to see the world. And I'm absolutely sure, and I maintain the the opinion of a law of attachment, I think it is called. And well, I'm not sure whether it is the exact thing I'm talking about. Maybe law of attachment is something something different, but well, I believe that we see everything we want to see. If we want to see negativity around us, we will see negativity. If we want to see positive, and if we want to see this positivity around us, we will undoubtedly see it. And in my opinion, it is impossible to don't have any problems. It's impossible to ignore them, and to understand, to just perceive the fact that most of our problems are just the result of us being too focused in our imagination, when most of them can be tackled pretty easily. Then well, it's impossible to have a mindset like that if you are always seek out negativity everywhere. To be honest, I was such a person mostly all my life, and before I always was I always was thinking about the the least the least well no I was thinking about the worst outcomes of different different situations I faced. And because of that, I was always negative. I was always afraid to do any steps at all. I was too just I was suppressing myself too much, because I was too scared to face those negative outcomes. But first of all, in reality, I think that I said that multiple times, that it is impossible to reach something new, to pursue something positive, if you don't take any risks. And even mathematically, if you don't do anything, if you don't try to do anything new, the chance of you being successful is 0%. It's not even 001, not 0.00001. It's an absolute zero. And even if I think that we all should maintain a mindset of making everything, if it could if it could increase our chances to reach success from this absolute zero to at least 0.000000001. Because well, there is no number which is closest. Well, zero is infinitely far from any number that comes to our imagination. And to be honest, I don't know why I said that, but well, maybe you could somehow interpret this your way. So, and well, the second thing I wanted to talk about, well, the second aspect of the of my initial thoughts of how we are suppressed in our own imagination, is that we is the thought of that we have no choice. I think that we always have choice, and we always have at least two different ways of solving or just or behaving in a certain situation. In my and in my opinion, we we are just too used. We are too, yeah, mostly just too used to understand or to understand the fact that sometimes, well, not even sometimes, but always the possible, well, the outcome which we don't want to reach, which we don't want to, I don't know, to get, to achieve, is the second choice. And for some people it may sound like it doesn't make any change, but for me it really I don't know, says that you have choice, you always have choice. If you don't want to, if you don't like doing this assignment, if you're not just lazy, if you really understand that it will do nothing to your life, you will, but you think that, well, I can't not be doing it. It's necessary, it's compulsory, it will be bad for me if I won't do this. Of course, of course it will be bad. Of course you will face any, of course you will face any, of course you will face certain consequences. And you should face, you will face consequences all over your life, all throughout all your life. And I think instead of just, instead of thinking about those, no, instead of being in distress from the understanding of this, I don't know, from of this fact, we should more be, we should be more like in acceptation, because it's really, it's really dumb. It's not even, I don't know, it's not even sad, it's not, it's the word, it's the only words how I can describe it. It's dumb to think about the things you can't control at all. It's dumb to, I don't know, to be afraid of consequences. It's dumb to be afraid of anything, of pain, of almost every thing which we may face in our life. No, yeah, constantly, because what is the purpose of being afraid of anything if we can't change it? I think, and well, I don't really think I'm sure, I'm sure that if we will learn, if we learn how to accept most of the facts in our life, or how to just do something instead of just complaining about how hard will it be to achieve certain goals, we should just put it in work instead of being condensed in our mind. And yeah, this is the only way. This is the only way to overcome your problems, to gain, I don't know, some mental stability, become I don't know, become more calm, because you should not just recognize the fact that it is impossible to control certain things, but also to accept this fact, and not just accept, but fully accept to the state when you just don't care about those problems which you cannot control at all. You, it's really it's a really good skill to be flexible, I think, because flexibility is the thing if which makes you, I don't know, which makes your life easier, because mm, it is inevitable that someday we will face I don't know, a different obstacle, and the stupid people will just go straight into this obstacle, bumping it, and then they will complain about, "Oh, life is so bad, life is so unfair, why is this obstacle it was in front of me?" But instead of being a dumb fuck, you somehow manage to, I don't know, to detour this obstacle, and I don't know, keep going instead of this stagnation, instead of being condensed in your head. You just turn off your turn off those this self-sabotage mode, turn off this sorts of how hard is it to achieve anything in your life. Of course it's hard, but in my opinion it is much harder to understand and to live with the fact that you ended up then when you are in your 70s, in your 60s, and you understand that you haven't done anything in your life. It is the most scary thing I could possibly I don't know, I could possibly imagine that human being could feel. It is just so, I think that anything, and I think I talked about it before. In my opinion, anything we face, any situation we face during our life, if it's not combined or associated with death, is absolutely manageable. Is absolutely manageable. But when it comes to situation whose death, and I don't talk about when the close ones pass away, when your friends, when your relatives pass away. It's always possible to it's also possible to overcome, but of course it takes time. What I am talking about is the things which are associated with our own death. And I think it's just, as I said before, the thought of understanding that you had lived your life and you didn't do anything at all, you didn't take any risk. Oh, well, you may think that, thanks God, I didn't do any risks. But have you ended up having anything valuable in your life? Have you ended up having those things you've dreamed about when you were, I don't know, when you were a kid, when you was an adolescent, or adolescent? And I'm not sure about the emphasis. Well, it doesn't matter, and I think that the most motivating skill, no, the most motivating thing is this thought. Is always, it's every time you think how hard is it to live, how hard is it, or how scary is it to do a certain situation, you just try to remember, try to I forgot this word. Just try to recall the fact that we are not immortal, that someday we are gonna die, and we don't even know when it would be. And I think I would be much no, I wouldn't even put it that way. I would be devastated. I would die in so much I would die in a dismay so big that I don't know. It's even hard for me to imagine how hard it would be to die like that. And I think that it's just, you should do anything to prevent a death like that. I think it's necessary for any human being to understand how, well, just to live your life thinking every single day about how hard it will be to die, knowing you could have achieved something but you were just scared. And well, it seems to me that I'm beating around the bush some last minutes, so I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say today. So It was a pleasure to talk. It was a pleasure to speak out, as always. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.